Books podcast with our host, Susan Lintonsmith. Susan, I really enjoy this topic today because me being a former teacher. And you know what? I take a lot of what my success in life is by being a teacher. Learning to teach is such an important skill because it's a lifelong lessons forever. We will always, successful people always are willing to learn. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree, and I love that. Yes, absolutely. We never should stop learning. We learn every day. Doesn't matter what our age is.
Right. And it doesn't matter what our brain capacity is. There's always an opportunities
There
for
is
brain.
that.
Yeah, exactly. So, how can teachers use the themes in the under the couch like courage and problem solving in their daily lessons?
Yeah, so the way that I wrote this series, and there's the 12 books in the Under the Couch series, is to have some of these lessons and some of these themes just naturally occur. So it's a great opportunity in the classrooms for the class to go through the books and for the teacher to stop and say, okay, in this situation, what would you do here? Or why were the two, main characters brave? Or what was the situation? What was really happening here? So that the educators can really use the themes in the books or what's happening naturally to get a conversation, a discussion going with the students that really kind of prompts the critical thinking and helps them to spark some conversations around those key areas that you were talking about, like courage, teamwork, making really good decisions, especially when they're like maybe facing fear or in a really unknown environment. How do you stop and really use critical thinking? And there's other themes that are in the books as well, besides just, courage and all of that. There's environmental lessons in there. There's lessons about taking care of the earth. So a lot of great topics there, morals and integrity, not stealing, making sure you treat people well. There's a lot of themes about, belonging and connectedness. So really some good fodder for teachers to use with their students in the classrooms.
What literary skills does your book support for classroom use?
I think
Literacy,
that
literacy, literacy. Sorry. What literacy skills does your book support for classroom use?
Yeah, so the way these books are written are in really bite-sized chapters because, they're written for all readers, but with the reluctant readers in mind. So those shorter chapters, I think, make it really perfect for prediction, sequencing, and inference work. Um, Kids can stop after each chapter and think about what just happened, what was going on there. And it also gives them the opportunity to think about what's coming next. What are some possible outcomes or some possible scenarios that are going to happen in the future? So, all of that I think is really great for classroom use. And again, it's perfect for all readers. It's bite-sized enough and written so that the reluctant readers can really consume it and enjoy it. But also the topics and the content is great for some of the older or stronger readers also, to keep them interested and engaged.
Absolutely. And that's the key. Which parts of the story work best for social emotional learning activities?
So anytime that the brothers, who are the two main characters, go on an adventure under the couch, they face the unknown. So it's change, it's uncertainty. They can face conflict, they can face fear. There's real danger in the under the couch world. They're never in, horrible danger, but it's enough that they really have to work together and engage. And these scenarios are really perfect for the teachers to discuss emotional regulation. They can talk about feelings. What was going on there? How would you feel about that? When they were addressing this or they saw this, how would you feel? Because they really do face conflict and fear. And it's discussing with them how would they face new situations, new environments? Because, change is the only thing that's constant in our lives today. So they can use this information for really great problem solving and critical thinking skills and really help the students to think through how their emotions, how to really kind of control or leverage or to, really utilize the emotions in a really positive way to make sure that they do face some of these life uncertainties in a very constructive way.
Can teachers use the characters to inspire writing or creativity?
Yes, yes. Teachers can definitely use these characters and the adventures, to inspire creativity. I think it would be great for teachers to, in the classroom, say, let's invent your own world under the couch where you can go on whatever adventure you want or experience another creative world. They can ask the student to really create a scenario, and ask them about what would occur in your adventure, and why. Why did you do this adventure? Who would be with you? And really give the students some opportunity to either write it out, draw it out, or just present it and tell the team, here the classroom, like, here's what I would do, here's where I would go, and here's how I would handle the situation. So great opportunity for creativity in the classroom.
How can the book support mixed level classrooms with reluctant or struggling readers?
Well, this book series was written for the reluctant or struggling readers. I have two boys of my own who, they have ADHD, dyslexia, and big books are just really overwhelming for them. So these books were written with the intention that it would be, something appealing to all readers, but the reluctant readers would be really, it's very accessible. So they would want to pick them up because they're easy to read. There's really shorter, bite-sized chapters. And importantly, the story really does move fast. So it tries to keep the adventure going and, no long build up, but really get them into the adventure. So really interesting and fast moving, but it's perfect content for like the fourth and fifth grader, but easy enough to read for, let's just say, the second grade reader. So I'm hoping that the pacing really keeps them hooked and that there's cliffhangers at the end of each chapters that gets them not only wanting to read more, but if you think about the whole series, it does go in order. So there's 12 books and it goes in order, and there's a couple of mysteries that happen, and you don't know what happens until book 12. So it's my hope and my dream that readers like one of my sons who just will not read a book will not only pick it up, but want to read to the very end because it is so engaging.
What's one easy classroom activity teachers can use immediately with your book?
Yeah, that's a great question. So teachers can just ask the students if there was a portal in our classroom. Let's just say that that wall over there actually was a portal to adventure. Where would it lead and why? And I think that's really great for kids to be able to invent their own adventures. Where would they want to go? What kind of adventure? Would they have a sibling with them, a best friend with them? Would they go on their own? And then what kind of a situation would they face, and potentially using some of the skills that they talked about in the classroom, how would they apply that to that situation? So there's just so many layers and depths that teachers could use with these books to help kids really start to think critically and to invent their own adventures.
Awesome. I mean, it's such great information. Best place people can go is underthecouchbooks.com. Make sure you follow her on all of social media. And we appreciate it, Susan. It was a great information.
Well, thank you. And the final thing I wanted to say, Neil, is we do have for all educators, we have the lesson plans and quizzes on the website. So again, go to underthecouchbooks.com and go click on the teacher's site, and all of those resources are there for you.
All right. You,